Hey, horror fans. Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Money G. It's time to review the latest Possession Exorcist horror film. This one stars Al Pacino. This one is called The Ritual 2025. Not to confuse the other horror film called The Ritual.
Y'all ready for this?
Hey, horror fans. Once again, it is me, the horror miser, Money G. Now, The Ritual is a 2025 American horror film that was directed by David Mendel. It was also written by David Mendel and Enrico Natali. Now, the film stars Al Pacino, Dan Stevens, Ashley Greene, Abigail Cohen, and Patricia Heaton. Now, in this film, two priests, one in a crisis of faith and the other confronting a turbulent past, must overcome their differences to perform a risky exorcism. Oh boy. Now, horror fans, it doesn't seem to matter how good or bad these films can be. It seems that horror filmmakers are still making possession exorcist horror films. It doesn't seem to matter if this genre is one of the least popular when it comes to horror films, and most don't even perform that well at the box office. They just don't get it. I mean, I can count on the number of my hand the number of successful possession exorcist horror films that have come out that does not include the film that started it all, The Exorcist, or even Exorcist 3. I mean, you have The Exorcism, Emily Rose, you have The Rite with Anthony Hopkins, and then you have The Pope's Exorcist. Now, a lot of people didn't like that one, but I did enjoy it mainly because of the performance of Russell Crowe. But these are just a handful of good possession exorcist films, while the others are just kind of average or they're just very bad and terrible horror films. Which now brings us to American filmmaker David Mendel's latest project and the latest attempt to make a decent possession exorcist horror film. This one is called The Ritual 2025. Now, this is taking place in a farming town in Erling, Iowa in 1928. We're introduced to a young woman named Emma Schmidt who is suffering from terrifying and inexplicable phenomenon. I mean, she has night terrors, violent outbursts, speaks in languages that she doesn't understand, and has a hatred for anything sacred or religious. Now, her family, devout Catholics, believe that she is possessed by a demon and seeks help from the church, who then send in Father Theophilus Ransinger, a seasoned priest known for conducting authorized exorcism with some success. Now, Ransinger brings Emma to a church or a convent headed by Father Joseph Stragler, a priest who's having his own crisis of faith due to a family tragedy. This begins a long and harrowing ritual which will test Ransinger's sanity and Singler's faith as they try their best to save Emma and her soul. And that's kind of what this film is about. Now, on paper, this sounds like this could be a decent horror film, as the premise that they're using here is quite interesting. In my opinion, I actually like the what they're trying to accomplish here. I mean, you have two priests that have a difference of opinion when it comes to Emma's condition, where Reisinger believes she is possessed by a demon, but Strangler believes that Emma is suffering from mental illness. Because you do have to understand, back in the day, a lot of people didn't understand mental illness was, so they thought the person afflicted was possessed by a demon. But as time went on, most people began to understand that it wasn't people possessed; they were just, they were suffering from mental illness. Now, I would have loved to see that dynamic explored in this film because it's something quite different that we haven't seen in any possession exorcist film. But unfortunately, they don't do that here. Instead, David and his team do the usual things that we've seen before in other films like this. We see Emma talking in Latin or tongues, levitating over the bed, or cursing or tempting the nuns who are present during the ritual. It's something that we've seen all before in other films like this. What's worse in this particular film is we get a lot of shaky cam, out of focus shots, or even too many close-ups of shot during the ritual. And of course, we cannot forget the contortion that Emma does during the ritual, as we can't leave that out as well. The contortion shots with the bones cracking, and she's like cracking. No, she doesn't do the head spin. All she does is And there, I did not see they didn't do the spider walk, but you might as well say they do the contortions. I mean, to be honest, there is no attempt from the filmmakers to try to do anything different to make this film separate itself from the other films in the subgenre. Again, I would have loved to see Stragler and Reisinger debate on how to solve Emma's condition. That would have been something interesting to see in this film. Now, I'll give Al Pacino credit as he tries his best with his performance as Father Reisinger, but the script that David and his writing partner Enrico Natale gives Reisinger more like a man who becomes obsessed of saving Emma than helping her. I mean, the same goes for Dan Stevens as well, as we see Father Strangler struggle with his crisis of faith. However, other than a brief mention that we get early in the film, I won't reveal what it is, because I don't want to spoil it, but it's really never fully explored. I mean, that would have been a great dynamic between Al Pacino and Dan Stevens, who are two very good actors, go after each other. And also, he gets confronted by his lack of faith or his obsession trying to kill Emma, like, it's his fault that she's possessed. And that would have been an interesting dynamic, but unfortunately, they do not explore that here. So, to be honest, as far as I'm concerned, this plays no more than a crisis of faith that Father Damien Karras had in The Exorcist. And to be honest, it looks like they're basically copying Father Marin, that's Reisinger's character, and Stegler is Damien Karras' character. It's like they just simply just took those two characters from The Exorcist and put them in this film. And let's not even talk about how the ritual ends. It is rather lackluster, and it doesn't have any of the intents that I believe David was looking for. It's just like, okay, this is it. We're gonna finally get this done, and then it happens, and that's it. I mean, overall, this is just another failed possession exorcist film with a bland and lackluster script, terrible camera work. Like I said, a very lackluster ending, and the film doesn't do anything to make itself new or just and the film doesn't do anything or different to make it stand out from the other films that we've seen in the subgenre. So I'm going to give The Ritual 2025 only one of the Miser's five bloody gold coins. Luckily, this was not on my top five horror films, but I got a feeling this is going to be, at the end of the year, one of the worst horror films that I've seen this year. Like I said, it were very disappointing. And once again, filmmakers continue to make very bad and very bland possession exorcist films. They simply just don't know how to do it. Maybe Mike Flanagan will have a good film to come out when he's working on the next Exorcist film. So maybe he might be able to do something different. But once again, another terrible output for this subgenre. And there you have it, horror fans. That is my video and review of the day. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, like, and share. It really helps out with that YouTube algorithm. Have you seen The Ritual 2025? What do you thought about it? Did you think this was a very bad film as well as I did? Please leave your comments in the comment section below and tell you what you thought about the film. Also, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell back where you'll be notified anytime when I put a new video such as this one. Once again, my name is Lamont Smith, better known as the Horror by Zamani G. And always remember that horror rules. And I see you in the next video. That guy stay safe out there.